Yes.
Hey, what do you mean by a self-paced course?
Well, the course material is available in the form of video lectures. And there are multiple practice problems that come along as well. So, you can access all of it anywhere, anytime. And they are available to you for lifetime.
No way.
Oh, yes, way. Don't delay and enroll now.
Geeks learning together.
Hi everyone, hope you guys are staying safe. Before starting the session, please let me know if I'm audible to you in the comment section, and then we can go ahead with this interview experience webinar for the day. Just waiting for some more people to join in. Although we have enough people live, but still waiting for some more seconds so that we can have as many people. So just waiting for them, and then we'll start. Okay, I'm audible. Thank you, Ravi, for letting me know that. Our guest for the day is Arshdeep Singh. He's currently working in Google as a software engineer, and he graduated in the year 2020 from BITS Goa. So we'll be discussing his journey from college to Google today. And without wasting any time, I'll just invite him to the stream and start the discussion with him. Hi, Arshdeep, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. We are getting a lot of comments that people were waiting for this session, and I'm already getting queries, but we'll take up all the queries at the end of the session. So I'll quickly begin with my questions for you. Uh, First one is to just briefly describe about yourself. It's a very basic question.
Sure. So, firstly, I would like to get this opportunity to say thank you so much to Gigs for Gigs for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. So, for introduction, I am Arshdeep. I am currently a software engineer at Google. I graduated from BIT School this year itself, completing my undergraduate in computer science. In my undergraduate, I got the opportunity to gain experience at different companies and institutes. So, in my undergraduate, I interned with a really small startup of like size of like 8 people, and interned with a big company such as Google, which has like more than 1 lakh employees. So I interned at 5 places. One was a startup, and then Productive Yoga Byte, which were mid-sized startup. I interned at a research lab called CSIS Siri, and then I also interned at Google after my third year. So
Okay, yeah, very well. Uh, my next question to you is sorry. Uh, can you tell me about how did you get to know about the opportunity? Was it on campus or off campus?
So about Google opportunity, I got in Google through an internship. I interned in the summer of 2020, and the opportunity that I got was off campus. Uh, yeah, so I got selected through some kind of coding competitions or maybe some resume selection. So I was reached out by a recruiter almost at the end of my second year, and that's how I applied for an internship. There was also an on-campus Google internship, but I did not sit for it because my process for off-campus was going on, and this was a long process. So I eventually got the offer in January of 2020. But yeah, that's how I got the opportunity, off-campus opportunity at internship.
Okay, okay, that's great. And can you briefly tell our viewers how many rounds of interviews were there, and can you just walk us through all the interview rounds one by one?
Sure. So I can divide this part into 3 parts. First is like, because I was an intern, I can share my experience about the internship rounds, like how the internship selection is done. I can also share about the PPO experience. So Google PPO experience is somewhat different from other companies. So I would also share about that. And despite the fact that I did not set for placement interviews in Google, I still have a lot of context around it, so I can share that process as well. So starting with the first thing about internship process. So as all of you might know, that the first round at Google is the resume selection round. The first thing that you would have to clear to get to sit to in for interviews is that your resume should be good. And when you are past the resume section round, then for internships, there is usually an online coding challenge round. This is usually the case. Sometimes it's not there, but most of the times it's there, especially if you're sitting for off campus. So this, in my time, it was 45 minutes of online coding challenge round, and this was consisting of 2 questions. But this varies a lot. So as far as I know, last year it was 1.5 hours. This year itself, it's either 1.5 hours or 2 hours. This varies a lot every year, and depending upon the location as well. So, and after you are past the online coding round, then there are usually 2 interviews. Uh, these 2 interviews are again 45 minutes each, and these are based upon data success algorithms. So these interviews are somewhat interesting that they do not have any resume, like any discussion or resume or anything. These are purely data section algorithm rounds. And both of these interviews for me were remote. And we had a Google Doc shared with me, with my interviewer, and we both worked on that to solve the questions. So, and usually I've seen that in Google interviews that there would be more than one questions. In my interviews, there were in all the interviews like which I gave for my internship and in PPO. I'll talk about this. There are interviews in PPO as well. So all of these were containing more than one question. So yeah, that's the main overall picture for internships. And after these 2 rounds, you usually get an offer. That's the main process. If
All
you
right.
are sitting for an internship in some other location, specifically for USA, then there is also one more round after this, which is the project selection round. So this round is basically that you sit with you get allotted, you basically start with a form, you basically fill a form about your preferences, which team do you want to work with, and then you are selected with some particular team managers in Google through which they talk with you, they share like ask you how's your experience and all those things, and based on those rounds you get selected with a particular team and then you get an offer. This thing is not there in Google India. So that's the main internship process. And after this I can talk about the PPO process. So
Yeah.
when the internships get completed, then in my year this was the case that the combined result of PPO was based upon the feedback that we get from the host and co-host of our internship, basically on the project, how did we perform. And also there were 2 more interviews. These interviews were again based upon data success algorithms. These were very similar to like the interviews which I gave for internship or the placement interviews which are there. So based upon the combined result of this, I got the offer for full-time join.
Okay.
And,
All right. Yeah. Yeah. You were saying
and
something.
yeah, so I was talking to talk about the full-time process. So if
Mhm.
someone is not going through the internship, then Google, then again, there is a completely different process for that. So for new grad hiring, again, it starts with your resume selection round. If your resume is shortlisted, then the first thing that you would get after your resume selection is that either you would get an online challenge, again, an online coding challenge, or you'll get a phone screen. So both of these are again data structure algorithms. And if you're past that round, then there are 5 interviews. These 5 interviews are based upon 4 of these interviews are based upon again data structure algorithms, and one of the interview is on Googliness. So Googliness round consists of multiple things. This is basically kind of a managerial round. Things which are tested in this round is how cultural are you with the Google culture. So how fitting are you with the Google culture? So these contains like situational questions on different values that you have, on empathy, on leadership, on the kind of work that you did, challenges that you faced. So there are different discussions on that. And after these rounds are done, usually you would get an offer at Google. So that's the process for all the different 3 parts that I talked about.
Okay. So the main focus is on DSA mainly.
Yes, Google is a
Yeah.
company which focus completely on DSA
Mhm.
for the interviews. But
Yeah.
when now that I'm in the company, I now also do some intern prep sessions. So now I know that this process don't contains just of DSA. It also contains of like different things such as how is your resume, how are your other like things in your profile. So these things are also considered while giving a final offer. But in the interviews, mostly your DSA would be tested.
Okay, fair enough. My next question to you is, what projects did you work on, and how did those projects help you in getting placed at Google?
Okay, so I worked upon multiple projects in like the 4 year of undergraduate. So in the first year, like everyone else, like we work upon like starter things of everything. So like learn web development, learn whatever you can, learn like try to learn machine learning. So those things basically, that's what I did in my first year. And apart from this, there were other projects which I did. Most of the projects that I did were some kind of way related to the internships that I did or some kind of work that I did in team or something. So, such as one project that I did was at Siri, which was a research institute after my second year, that was on face anti spoofing. I also like worked upon an Android application as part of a course in my university, and yeah, there were multiple projects. Now talking about the main point, like how did it help it in your placement? So specifically for Google, uh, most of the projects or the things that you do in college will be useful in your resume selection round or in the Googliness round. So these two places are where your Googliness, these two places are where your projects would be really useful, because in projects you get to learn about a lot of different technologies and a lot of situations that you face. These are a lot talked about when you're doing the Googliness round. And these projects also build up your profile through which would be really helpful in resume selection. But I just did not give the interviews for Google. I gave interviews for other companies, and that's where these projects were really useful. So, for example, I was giving an interview for a intern. I did an intern at Yugabyte. So one of my interviews was the 50% of the interviews was based upon a topic which was written in my resume. A project that I did on Android application. There was a topic which I can't tell you more about, but there was a topic on that particular Android application that we worked on that, and that's where most of the discussion for the round completely went. So that's where it usually helps, the projects that we did, and in other interviews that I gave, all of those places, these projects were really useful.
Okay. Okay, so you've given a very elaborative experience of yours. I'm sure this will help viewers. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, I think there were some connection issues. I don't know. Maybe some technical
Yeah, I can
glitch.
hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, but we are
Perfect.
back. Okay, great.
Yes.
So my next question to you is, what was your preparation strategy like?
Yeah. So I can share like so. Firstly, I was active in competitive programming when I was in my second year. I used to practice competitive programming, not a lot, but at least like we used to solve all the contests and everything which was going on. So like code forces, codeship contest. That's how I used to like start into DSN algorithms, and that's how my second year went. I did not practice like dedicatedly for placements. I did not even practice dedicatedly for internship interviews and placements even before my internships. I just thought that I would like do well because I was active in CP and like just give the interviews. But then internship interviews started, and on day one I was like, by talking to like seniors and hearing about like experience and everyone I know, they like, I was thinking that I would get placed like in the first day in the internship, but I did not. Like I did not got any offer in the first day of internships. So that's when I realized that just doing CP is not directly relation with like how well do you perform in your interviews or how will you perform in like placements. So that's when I started preparing exclusively for interviews. So my main placement or step preparation strategy started when I was in my third year first semester. So in that, I started up was on the book called Cracking the Coding Interview. This is a book I really like, and I have done this book like all of the questions in this book. Uh, that was a good starting point. what I focused now on in my placement in my preparation strategy was what I used to do was whenever I get a question, I used to see what was the topic used in a question, and then used to like learn the topic and then like prepare for it. But in my strategy, what I used to do was I used to pick up a particular topic, learn about the topic, whatever the resources that I can, and then practice a lot of top of it. So for this, what I used was again cracking the coding interview book, and there were like college notes that I have for TSA, and Geeks for Geeks also has like a very good interesting section for different questions of a particular topic, and interview bit is also there, which has questions for a particular topic. So these were the resources which I was using, and using all the questions, I used to practice a particular topic. And this went on for like few months in my third year first semester. And that's how after few months after my internship was over, I got an off-campus offer from Google because I was able to prepare so well in those 3 4 months. So that's what I feel that most of my preparation for interviews was on these 3 4 months.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Um, okay. So the internship story that you told everybody is very inspiring because it gives everyone a hope to never give up and to keep looking for what you want instead of getting failed at the first attempt. So we are almost done with our questions for you. Now I'll take up some questions from the comment section.
Okay, so I can see this question from Anupam that I'm in third year, just started fifth semester. I am an intermediate in problem solving. What steps should I take to prepare for product skills? So Anupam, we were in very similar situation. I was also just starting my fifth semester, and then I realized that I'm not that good in coding or problem solving. So that's what you should do. Like structure for a plan, like structure for everything that you want to cover in those like next 2 to 3 months or 5 months, whatever time do you have before your interviews. You should prepare a strategy for when do you like want to sit, and before that how can you complete everything, every possible topic that is there. I don't need to tell you what topics are there because you can find them online. Like go on Geeks for Geeks, search for what topics are there, do every topic that is there, don't leave anything. So this is one thing that is very important, that most of the companies that I know, they don't ask very difficult questions, including Google. They ask questions which are just a twist on basic questions. So your problem solving, as you also said, your problem solving should be very good, not that you should know like very deep things. So that's what you should focus on. Learn every possible, the top of the main topics. You should learn the basis of those very clearly, and that's what you should focus on. Try to solve as many questions as you can. Have a proper strategy for how many days would you take for each topic, and then try to do it in the time frame that you are thinking of. And yes, you are in third year, so you have a lot of time, don't worry. Like you can, like, you have the fifth semester, sixth semester, seventh, if before your placement, so it's quite a lot of time, don't worry.
Yeah. Anshuman wants to know that he's a non-CS background, fourth year, but he's good at DS and competitive programming as well. He has done some web development projects too. So how should he make it to big tech companies?
So I can definitely say that your branch does not matter at all. Like it might matter like little bit, 5-10%, but 90% of the cases it does not matter at all. I know people who were in like very different branches, not even circuit branches, like very different branches, but they are also placed in very good companies, very good big tech companies, product based companies, very good startups. So if you're like saying you're very good at DSA, you're good at competitive programming, you have done good web development projects, reach out to recruiters, reach out to different people in your college, like seniors who can give you referral to those companies. Like apply to those companies using referrals. If your resume is not very impactful, like it's not that impactful, work on your resume. Make your resume very impactful. It's like someone sees your resume, they will like instantly say, yeah, this is a good person. Like try to do those things and then apply to different companies. If you're good in TSA and if you've done like good work, you know development very well, then it's not difficult to get into big companies.
Yep. Okay. Pankhur says, can we crack Google without competitive programming?
Yeah, this question I can definitely say that competitive programming is not necessary for like any company. Any company, competitive programming is not necessary. See, you can definitely find the relation that people who are doing good in competitive programming also do well in like big tech companies interviews, but it's not necessary. So to do good in like big tech companies or specifically Google, you just need to be good in your problem solving skills. Problem solving skills can be developed without doing competitive programming. So you can go on Gigs for Gigs, you can go on Lead Code, all these websites, and you can find a lot of questions, a lot of topics, and just practice those topics. Just practice different questions on those. That's how you can improve on, and that's how you can crack the interviews. If you ask me, can you crack Google without like knowledge on data structures or algorithms? Then no. Then yeah, that's required. But competitive programming is not required. You don't need to like do a very mind sport things of doing competitive programming and have to be like really good rank. That's not necessary.
Okay, fair enough. Aman says, sir, what is the right time for reaching out to recruiter? And should I approach the recruiter after 100% of the preparation or 70-80% is okay? Because I've heard sometimes recruiter gives you time to prepare.
So yeah, the best time to reach out to a recruiter is when you feel you are prepared, but that's never. So that's never. Like I don't feel prepared right now as well. So I don't feel prepared. Like I can do anything. So the best time to reach out to a recruiter practically is now. Like if you are doing CP regular, if you're doing programming regularly, if you're good in like, if you're good with concepts, if your resume is good, just apply. Just reach out to a recruiter. Just ask them that can I apply for this role? Can I apply for this particular role or internship or placements? Just reach out. There is no harm in reaching out. It will not hamper any chances of you. If you're not ready at that time, then the recruiter can definitely say you can take more time. You can take more time to prepare. But it's never like a bad time to reach out to the recruiter and then ask for an internship or placement like interview.
Okay. Harshil Sagar says, please share your Google boarding rounds and what questions were asked, or something like the nearest questions that were asked. So he wants you to give some hints about the topics from which the questions were asked in the coding round.
Yeah, so this is the case that we sign an NDA. So we can't really reveal the questions that are there in the rounds, but I can share that the questions were definitely not something which are like very advanced concepts. So these were like related to very simple concepts which everyone has read about. So graphs, DP, trees, strings, questions were related to these topics. These were not like very advanced topics, but the questions were of good quality. So the questions you like take your mind to think. Like you have to think in the interview. You have to practice. That's the main thing.
Okay. This person wants to know if Google hires QA testers. If yes, then what will be the interview process based on?
Yeah, so I have seen that there are QA and tester roles in the Google Jobs portal. So you can go to careers.google.com and see what roles are there. But I'm not sure if they hire QA and testers at a fresh grad level or an intern level. That's what I'm not sure about. But definitely there are QA and tester roles available at Google. I've seen those roles. Just go to careers.google.com and then you can see. And interview process, I can't say because I haven't like gone through that process. Neither have talked to someone who have gone through that process. So it's better that you reach out to someone who's a QA or tester at Google, and they can share their experience of how they were able, what were their experience. They can't tell you the questions, but they will share how was their experience and give you an overall picture. Or you can like reach out to a recruiter as well for this.
Okay. We have already attached his LinkedIn profile in the YouTube description below. Whoever wants to connect and whoever still feel that their queries went unanswered, then you can directly DM him or reach out to him. I'm sure he'll help you out. So you can check out the description of the YouTube video. You'll get it. Okay. Pratham wants to know if is doing and making projects on web development or Android development very necessary for cracking a good company, or being good at DSA is enough?
So yeah, this is also a question that like I've seen a lot of people ask. So the thing is, when we are doing like computer science as a degree, or you want to become a software engineer, it's very important that you actually understand what you're going to do as a software developer. Uh, it might be possible that by just doing DSA in your college, you might get into a good company. It's possible. If you're very good in DSA, then you might get into a good company. But we're actually going to do there is somewhat related to web development, Android development, backend development, some kind of development, something similar you're going to do in your company. And you should be very familiar with what you are going to do. And I personally believe in building a profile and building a good software engineer rather than just being doing good in DSA. This is what I personally feel. So uh, I'm not sure if it's a necessity, but it's very, very, very important that you do good other projects. And it's not just like web development or Android development projects. You can do like research work in compilers. You can do like operating system stuff. You can do anything, machine learning, deep learning, anything which you find interesting. But just build a really good profile, because that will also help you in your resume selection round and like Google Nest round or other interview rounds as well. But this will also make you a better engineer, better software engineer. So it's very important that you focus on other things as well.
There's a very funny question popping up, and it is, Bhaiya, how to get an interview call from Google. So I must tell you that it's not Google who will call you, rather, you would be the one who would be applying at Google and making yourself something different from the rest, and you know, making your resume stand apart, and that's how Google will call you. And probability is very less, but I'm sure Arshdeep would know better. So if you can address this question.
Yeah, so it's not the case that Google does not like Google recruiters are there to actually find candidates. So it's definitely possible that if you are really good, then you can get a direct interview call from Google. It's possible, but it's just that you have to really excel in something that you do. It can be anything. It can be research. It can be like some kind of development work. It can be anything, but you have to be really good at that. That's when you would get like an interview call. Some practical things that I can give you, like this was a very vague answer. At a fresh grad level, you can apply to you can do competitions such as Google Kickstart or CodeChamp. And if you're getting like a really decent, like really good rank or consistently good ranks, then it's very much possible that you would get a interview call from Google directly. Like not a call, but like an email, but you get the point.
Yeah, right. Hmm. Okay. So Dheeraj wants to know which platform to follow, Lead Code or Code Forces.
I want to ask like why is the Geeks for Geeks not in this? But yeah, you can follow any platform. Like you can follow Geeks for Geeks, Lead Code, Code Forces. Like just follow, just practice. Like I used to do on everything. Like whatever question that I find interesting on any platform, I used to solve it. Or if I'm solving a question on a particular platform, the answer or the editorial that I find on that it's not good, then I just search for it and I found that a better article is there on some other platform. So just use any platform. It's not dependent upon which platform do you use, but more on how do you use it. Like effectively use a platform. Practice as much as you can. That's more important than like following a particular platform.
Okay. Joel says, does internship certificate matter in Google interview?
I firstly don't understand like what do you mean by internship certificate? But if you are saying like the internship certificate that we get from paid internships, like you give money and then you get a internship certificate, that does not matter at all. That's a bad thing to do. If you are saying that doing internships before applying for Google, like Google, what do we call recruitment, then yeah, if you have prior work experience in other companies, then yeah, your chances of getting interviewed are much more higher.
Okay. Okay. So this person is telling that Google approached him through LinkedIn, and he has his interview scheduled next month. I wasn't aware of this, that Google people approach via LinkedIn also.
Yeah. So it's possible like Google, if so every company in the world, if you are good, then they will approach you to every place. So I know a funny story of like one of the code developers of Java, uh, because like Java is a really cool language, and like a lot of people are using Java, and he was one of the code developers. A recruiter came to his house and then gave him a bouquet and like a lot of things, and then invited him to come for an interview. So like recruiters will do everything
Oh,
to get you
that's
to their company if you're good
yeah.
enough.
Okay, then that person must be brilliant.
Yeah, he's the one of the code developers of Java. So
Oh,
Java
okay, okay,
programming language, yeah.
okay,
So
okay, okay. All right, all right. Okay. So Harish says, does MOOC certificates from courses Udacity matter?
Uh, so if you have nothing on your resume, then yeah, you can put this. But I personally feel that if you have projects, then that are more better than like MOOC certificates, because like currently this is the practical reality that the solutions for Udacity Coursera are available on internet, and people can just put those like solutions directly. So no one can trust just based upon ki this certificate, this person actually done this or not. So it's better if you create like a proper project, put it on like a domain, host it somewhere, and then send that link to some recruiter or someone in the company. Then that's more substantial than just like putting a book certificate. So one particular tip that I also have applied in my resume is that whatever projects that I've done or whatever internships that I've done, I tried to find resources which were related to that internship. So my Google internship that I did, all of the work that I did was open source. So all of the PRs that I raised, I've like compiled them in a link and I've put it in my resume. So anyone, if anyone see my resume, they can just click on that link and just see whatever work that I did. So you can do that. You can do that for projects. You can do that for internships. But yeah, that's more important than doing
Okay.
like a MOOC certificate.
Okay. Does Google hire MCA candidates?
Yeah, Google hire BCA candidates as well. I have a friend. You can search him. His name is Taranpreet. He was a BCA student, and he was like really good at competitive programming, and that's how he's like joined with me in Google like this year. So yeah, Google can hire BCA students, MCA students. Google will hire you if you don't have a degree, but you need to be good. That's the only thing.
Okay. Oh, that's really great. So we are mostly done with all the queries, and this is the last one, which says, are academic grades important?
So this is a debatable question. I have had multiple discussions on this. Personally, I feel that academic grades are important because the college in which I studied, BITS Goa, it has like a scholarship system. So okay, on the basis of academic grades, we used to get substantial scholarships. I used to get 80% scholarship because of like having good academics. So and it's not just academic grades are important for scholarships. If you are applying for masters, or if you are like applying for, so in my university there is something called practice school program, through which people do get like offers because of their CGPA is good. So a lot of things are do dependent on grades, but just search for it, like how much importance the things that you want to do, how much importance that grades hold in that. So that's where I would say just find what your goals are and how are your grades are going to help in that or not. If they are going to help, then definitely work on this. But if they are not going to help, then yeah, you can take somewhat light, but don't take super light on grades. Like I personally feel grades are important.
Okay. Yes, we are mostly done with a lot of questions, and so whoever, if you guys still have queries, and if you think that there is something very important that got unanswered, then you can directly message him on LinkedIn. We have attached his profile, like I said. Apart from that, thank you for joining in. I'm just scrolling through the comments. If something important pops up, then I'll surely address it. Just a second. Yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Arshdeep, for joining in. And yeah, so there is something that I wanted to announce, that today we have Google Test Series coupon. So one is for like it is 100% off. You do not have to pay any fees for the test series, and others are for 50% off. I'll be distributing those once the session gets over, and we'll be taking up one or two people from the comment section randomly. So I just want to finish this, and then I can go ahead and distribute these coupons to the viewers. So thanks a lot, Arshdeep, for joining in, and we had a really great time talking to you. And you gave such descriptive and such informative advices, and your stories were very helpful. So thanks a lot, and good luck for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Sidra and Gigs for Gigs, for giving me this opportunity to talk about my experience. I really hope that it helps clear some of your doubts. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn, and I would definitely, if I have some time, then I would definitely love to answer those questions. So all the best, everyone, and thank you so much again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so for the Google test series, now I'm gonna pick any one of you for the 100% free coupon, and then that person can let me know about their email ID in the comment section itself, or they can mail me in the, or you can just send me across in the private chat. We'll be sending you the coupon there itself. Um, Let me quickly go through all the comments. Okay, Aman Mahor, if you can just message me your email ID. If you can write your email ID in the comments, I'll be sending you the Google Test Series coupon, which is 100% free. So I would again like to say out the name. It's Aman. I'm not sure if he's there because I'm getting no message from him regarding this. Okay, I got it. Fine, Aman, thank you. I'll be mailing you the coupon really soon. And I'm just like, I'll copy paste the coupon code here for the rest of you. The first 10 people can avail it today itself. It's a Google Test Series 50% off coupon. And I am just gonna write it in the comments. Give me 30 seconds. So this will be a 50% off coupon, and first 10 people who would be applying this would get the course at 50% off. I'll just write it in the comments. Yeah, so this is the coupon code. And I'm also attaching the link. Yep, this is the link and this is the coupon code. First 10 students can avail it. And Aman, I'll be sending you the 100% coupon code on mail in a minute or two. Once again, thank you everybody for joining in. Hope you guys had a good time. And yeah, I really hope that you will go away with a lot of important stuff from today's webinar. So yeah, keep coming to the webinar, and yes, stay safe. Bye.